Combat sports fans, welcome to Strong Style, Impact Media's weekly dive into the world of mixed martial arts and professional wrestling. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. I want to welcome you guys in to another great edition. We got Bound for Glory results. We'll tell you when the next UFC is. It's in a minute. AEW, Halloween Havoc, all this fun stuff that we will get into shortly. But first, let me clear my throat a little bit. If you would like to be a part of the show, and we would love you to be a part of the show, the Impact 99 is how you will find this guy on all the social medias, which is an easy way to find myself and or the shows. Or you can go to YouTube, which hopefully you're watching it on, but if you're watching it through one of the other social medias, make sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, like, share, leave questions, comments, suggestions, all of that. We love the feedback. You guys have noticed that we do respond back. Impact _ media _ and just look for Strong Style or whatever your favorite show is, or all of them. And make sure to do that. We do giveaways, we do all kinds of stuff. As I said, there is a lot to get into. So I want to start with UFC 308. It was in Abu Dhabi, where Crown Jewel is headed. WWE Crown Jewel. We just previewed that, me and Daniel. Hopefully you checked that out on the station as well. But it was Ilya Topuria versus Max Holloway for the featherweight championship. And what did Topuria do? I thought this thing was going to go to decision. I really did. I thought it was going to be 3 rounds to 2, maybe even 4 rounds to 1. No disrespect to Max Holloway because he's that guy. But Topuria says, I ain't letting this go to judges. This ain't going to the judges. And ends this thing with the TKO of Max Holloway in the 3rd round, just a minute and a half in. Topuria's that guy. He's that guy. Max Holloway's really good. It's nothing personal to Max. It's not like, oh, his best days are ahead of him. No, Max, they'll hold it with anybody. Topuria got him. Topuria got him. So he retains his featherweight championship. And the co-main event was almost as good. How about 3.5 minutes in? Hamzat Chimaev. I thought for sure his whole weight issues would really catch up to him. He didn't let it catch up to him because 3.5 minutes into the fight, he gets the submission win over Robert Whitaker. That rear naked choke. Man, Chimaev's that guy. Chimaev's that guy. Maybe that's the name of this show. That guy. He's that guy. He improves to 14-0 in the middleweight division. Too bad that Topuria and Chimaev couldn't face. I guess they could. Let's not get into weight issues, but wow. And not to be outdone, the rest of the main card was spectacular. Magomed Ankalaev with universal decision, but unanimous decision over Alexander Rakic. Told you guys he'd probably win by decision. Ankalaev is he's got to be one of the next up in the light heavyweight division. LaRon Murphy gets the win over Dan Ige. Don't remember who I picked in that. I think I picked Dan Ige. But either way, unanimous decision there. And how about Sara Magomedov with the TKO over Arman Petrosyan? Wow. That spinning back fist. It was lightning quick. It was about that quick. That's probably what Petrosyan saw before he woke up looking at light, because that was impressive. Can I just say, can we get Sara Magomedov and Hamzat Chimaev? And can we get maybe LaRon Murphy? Yeah, I don't think he has a number in front of his name, but LaRon Murphy, Ilya Topuria. Yeah, we could do that. Big time fight throughout the night. Jeff Neal with the TKO of Rafael Dos Anjos. That was impressive. That was only a minute and a half into it. There was another one that I thought that was it Farid Basharat? Yeah, his unanimous decision over Victor Hugo. Basharat is going to be pretty entertaining because one of the judges had it 30-27. I think it was 29-28, but it was pretty one-sided. We'll definitely give them that. Now, of course, that moves us to Fight Night this Saturday. Fight Night this Saturday. That is in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's going to be in the Rogers Center, I believe, which is where the Oilers play. That's going to be fantastic. Your prelims start at 5 p.m. Your main card starts at 8 p.m. And we are going to get a flyweight main event of Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Brandon Moreno, every time you try to count him out, he finds a way back in. And he's actually the favorite at minus 175. Albazi, even though he has the better record, at plus 145. I'll tell you, I think Moreno's going to win this fight, but plus 145 is not bad numbers if you wanted to throw a few ducats towards Amir Albazi. He does have a chance to win this. I think Moreno's going to win it. I definitely think he's going to win it. If it goes 5 rounds, goodness, that it's going to be a war. If it's just a 3-round main event, I doubt it. They're probably going to make it 5. If it's a 3-round, it'll be really strategic. I'm more interested in the co-main event and the one before that. Honestly, I'll be just straight and honest. Because Aaron Blanchfield at a minus 130 against Rose Namajunas at plus 110. First off, how in the world can you make Rose Namajunas an underdog? Aaron Blanchfield's really good. This could just be an even money fight. But I guess they decided to see if they could move the numbers one way or the other. I'm looking for Thug Rose to show up. If Rose Namajunas shows up, this will be a good quality fight. If Thug Rose shows up, the thing's going to be over in the second. And that's no disrespect to Aaron Blanchfield because I actually think Blanchfield can take it to Rose, can take it to Thug Rose. And I'll actually go with the favorite. I'll go Aaron Blanchfield in this one. We'll go decision on it. Derek Lewis at plus 140. How in the world is he an underdog? Is going to take on Janata Denise at a minus 170. He's undefeated. Okay. Give me Derek Lewis. Give me Derek. My balls are hot. Lewis. Not sure I can say that. Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis in the second round. That's what I think's going to happen. Hmm. Technical glitch there. Not sure what's going on. Fourth fight on there, Cao Mikado is going to face Brinson Ribeiro, the light heavyweight division. That's going to be fun. And I think you got to take Cao Mikado, and I hope I'm saying his name right. Um, Ribeiro is pretty good. If he gets a chance to take it to the ground, maybe he could do some stuff. But Mikado is pretty good on the ground as well. I think it goes back and forth. I think you're looking 29-28 Mikado. And Marc-Andre Barral getting a fight in his home country. Good for him. Versus Dustin Dolphus. Give me Marc-Andre Barral. I think he's going to win in his home country. Do we know where he's from? Are we looking at? I mean, we know he's from Canada, but there we go. Got a producer send me that. Appreciate it, Sassy. He is from wow, thanks for that. He is from Canada. Where in Canada is he from? What did you say? Nope, it doesn't. All right, from Canada. So give me a Canadian guy. Give me the Canadian guy now. There's some other big fights. Mike Malot's gonna fight on this one. Pedro Munoz. Ariana Silva, Jasmine Jessica, Charles Jourdain, Air Jourdain's going to be on this one, Jack Shore, Yusef Salal, Romanov, Alexander Romanov, Cody Gibson, Ivana Petrovic. Will be fun. It's a fun one. So that's UFC coming up. What do we want to go next? We want to go Halloween Havoc? Go NXT Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc was on the Peacock Network on Sunday. Pretty solid show. I'm not big on all the weapons matches and goofy stipulations. I mean, WCW and TNA kind of beat that out of us back in the 90s and 2000s. TNA a little better about it now. Thank goodness. You guys are doing better. But, I mean, Halloween Havoc, I guess, they wanted to spin the wheel. They wanted to have these just ridiculously weird things, which is fine. Because they opened up with Tony D'Angelo against Oba Femi for the North American Championship. They in a tables, ladders, and scares match. It was basically a TLC, anything goes. The family ended up coming out to help Tony D'Angelo beat Oba Femi. I think that was fitting because it shows that that family is one big unit. I would like to see them grow. I would like to see what's his name, Stack, and I forgot the other guy. I would like to see them tag more, maybe go for the tag title in NXT. That I mean, even if they come up short, I would like to see them tag more, and would definitely like to see would definitely like to see Rizzo. Isn't her name Rizzo? Let's see. Can we? Is it somewhere? I think it's Rizzo. um, it's gonna be somewhere on here, somewhere on here. We're gonna find it. I promise. Luca Cristofino is the one I'm trying to come up with. Um, Adriana Rizzo. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I would like to see. I would like to see them. Rizzo do a little bit more stuff on her own. Her versus Spence Sinclair, I think, would be a good, solid matchup, and even Petrovic. And I would like to see Cristofino and Stack in the tag division because Tony D'Angelo is a legit heavyweight contender. I know he's North American champion, and at some point they're going to break this family up when he gets moved up. So I don't think the whole family goes up. Maybe Rizzo goes with him, but I don't see the rest. Then we got to see Julia and Stephanie Vacour as they defeated Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade in a tag team match. This was good. I think Julia had a solid performance. I think Roxanne Perez was pretty solid, but Stephanie Vacour and Cora Jade, this was their standout party. Vacour by far was the best in the entire match, but Cora Jade coming off a big long injury, getting kind of pushed back into a main storyline like this, I thought she showed that she's a main event contender. Absolutely is a main event contender. She has been working on her craft, and um, the division's full of more stars than just these four, but these four here could be 6-8 months worth of stuff of just having them go back and forth. So, fantastic job by WWE. Rich Holland defeated Andre Chase in an ambulance match. I'll be honest, ambulance matches usually are boring. This was pretty good. Andre Chase is the lovable loser. At times, I really thought he was going to beat Ridge, and then just Ridge found a way to power out of everything. And the former rugby star did some fantastic stuff. And you know, it was actually a good ambulance match. Like I said, most of them are boring. Most of them are pretty easy, pretty one-sided. You can figure out what's going on. They had me guessing. That's a good job. The spin the wheel makes the deal. This was the spinner's choice. The NXT Women's North American Championship. Kalani Jordan had to face a gauntlet of Fatal Influence. She defeated Jasmine Nix. She defeated JC Jane. And then Fallon Henley got her. And Fallon Henley is your new North American champion. Um, the thing you take away from this is Kalani Jordan is a very, very soon to be star. She's real close. She's really, really good. And you need the belt off of her for her to do other things. So I think that's what happened. She may get a rematch, but Fatal Influence needed a title. Now they have the North American title. And we'll see what they do with that. But Kalani's going to move on to other things, is what I think. And then lastly, because even though WWE got away from with Crown Jewel, they have 7 matches as opposed to their normal 5. NXT decided they're going to stick to their 5. So Trick Williams was defending his title against Ethan Page in a Devil's Playground match, aka anything goes. You can call it whatever you want. I really thought this was an opportunity, 2 missed opportunities here. One was for Ethan to take the belt back. I think Ethan makes a better champion because there's not as many heels to go against Trick. There's a lot more faces that can go against Ethan. And 2, the missed opportunity is that you have Lexus King. I'm not partial because I met him over the weekend. Made the day before this actually at the Deep South Wrestling show. I'll give you those results in a minute. I thought that he was actually the better heel, even though they're cleaning up his heelish ways. That if Ethan didn't win, Trick Williams versus Lexus King could be the next matchup, and it would be fantastic and believable. And you had him do some backstage stuff. Lexus was there, but none of it tied into this. And I felt like they missed it. I thought they had a solid, I give them 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a really, really good show. Bubba Ray Dudley was there, some other people, but I think they did a good job up in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I think they pushed the people they needed to push, and like I said, I just felt they did a really good job with it. I'll tell you what, since I mentioned it, let's go to Deep South. Let me find my readout. I did a write-up. Normally I do these write-ups. I'm a little perturbed by this. And in no way, this is not because I'm going to mention his name as a backhanded way of saying it's on him, because it's not. I think he did what he was supposed to do. Normally, you guys know, I know the matchmaker, Eric Adams of Deep South. He's been on the show before. If not, go back and check it out. But normally, the show was on Saturday, so Sunday afternoon, I was helping former Deep South champion Skrilla the Great out with something, and as I was doing that, I was also doing the write-up. So, I did the write-up. I submitted it to Eric. Eric submitted it to Georgia Wrestling History, who proceeded to, is there right? Published. I guess they had a guy there who published his own write-up, and you could tell it's a guy who's not been to many shows. He kind of just like a pound cake when you could have had birthday cake. Not a personal guy. You had a good write-up, but you could tell you haven't been around because you kind of missed some stuff. I don't care. Find me at the next show. I guess at some point I'm going to put this together and publish it myself, I guess. But I don't know. I think you should publish mine too. Either way, maybe it's just me. So let's just get into it. Because unlike what you'll see on Georgia Wrestling History, it wasn't 300 plus that were there. How about 785 rabid wrestling fans. In fact, it was not even your typical Deep South audience. I'd say about half of those, maybe 400 of them were, but the other 385 were people who were just in for a good time, and boy, did they get one. Boy, did they absolutely get one. Two newcomers in the very front, Joseph Von Smith and Stunt Marshall. I've heard a little Stunt Marshall. Got to meet Stunt Marshall. He's fun. He's fun. And Joseph Von Smith, I thought, did a spectacular job. In fact, once again, I'll say it. Some people said that he was having a hard time getting over as a heel in this match. No, he was doing a pretty good job of it. From what I saw, he was getting the boos when he did things. He was jawing with the crowd, saying, "No, don't cheer that." He yelled at us. We were at ringside. He yelled at us multiple times. I was dressed as Roman Reigns, so I mean, I understand him getting upset with that. But it was a really good match, and Stunt Marshall ends up with the win. Like I said, fun guy. Talked to him later in the night. Up next, we had DJ Smoke versus CT Entertainment. These guys have wrestled a dozen times in the last month, and it shows. I think they wrestled earlier in the day as well. As I said in the write-up, hold on to your hats. These two were all over the place. Energy everywhere. Smoke using his speed, try to stay ahead of CT. And CT just has this cerebralness where he can just put himself in good situations. And on top of that, Smoke goes for a big crossbody as they land. CT flips it over, gets the pin. He gets the win. CT actually gets a solid win, and the Pride of Birmingham did something that looked a little odd until we saw him later in the night. He's going to make another appearance. What CT did was he offered to shake the hand of Smoke. Something Smoke has offered to do to him multiple times, and he just never obliges. Well, this time, Smoke shook his hand. Now, why would CT do that? Maybe he does it on his own terms. Or maybe he's setting the stage for something he's doing later. Ryan Rembrandt versus Professor Payne with C-Dub. This was okay. Match wasn't really long at all. The bigger story on this is that Ryan Rembrandt kind of flipped the switch. And when he flipped the switch, he went and found like a ring turnbuckle and laid out Professor Payne. Something, just blatantly. Hadn't seen that kind of malice from him. And then he did it to C-Dub and then looked in C-Dub's bag. And, C-Dub, he's an amateur botanist, loves to trim bushes everywhere he goes, bonsai style. And he had some scissors in his bag because that's the only reason I can think that he would have scissors in his bag. And because of that, Rembrandt cut some of C-Dub's beard. This thing was like, down to here? And boy, he cut it short. He's close to like my length now. C-Dub was distraught. Apparently he had a job interview the next day. If they ain't never going to get a decent job if he's got a crappy beard like that. So, hopefully he got it trimmed up and was able to do some stuff. But I've never seen that side of Rembrandt. So that was pretty entertaining. We get the Drewski in the ring. He brought out Carolina Cruz, who is the Mrs. Lexus King, for people who don't know, and former NXT standout, now on the indie scene. She comes out and is talking to the crowd, and Gemma Jules, who happened to be doing commentary, just says, "I don't know who this is, but you're in my ring." And so she comes in and interrupts her, and eventually, fist fly. They have to pull them apart, and Eric Adams says, "You know what? You guys want to fight so bad? November 17th, right back here at New Realm, you versus you. We already got a match booked." Finally, Gemma's going to get another opponent. It has been one of the hardest things for Eric to do. I've been there with him trying to do it. It is not easy to find people who want to face Gemma Jules. Like, a lot of them don't think they can beat her, I guess. And Carolina doesn't care if she can beat her. She just had enough of Gemma talking, and Gemma vice versa. So, We already know a match, and we already know November 17th. It'll be fun. We get to see another newcomer, August Artois, against Nauticism. August is a media, I mean, not just a media, but he is a internet and indie scene darling. He has been all over the world. In fact, like a week before, he had been in like Thailand. He was showing us some pictures of the fantastic site and sounds over there. Um, and Nauticism is really hard to keep up with because of his speed and his strike. And Artois was giving it to him. Now Artois was also verbally giving it to everybody at ringside. At one point, a particular person dressed as Roman Reigns got his wig taken by August, who tried to wear it as he got back in the ring, only for it to fall off. That would have been funny. That would have been really funny. But he did not mind messing with anybody at ringside. His witty humor is hilarious, and he is actually one of the more athletic people I've ever seen to go against Nauticism. And Naja did a fantastic job. He used the sharpest shooter to beat Artois, but Artois, I think, won his way into the audience and hope to see that guy again. And afterwards, I got a chance to speak with him a little bit, and he said he would love to come back. He said this was one of the crazier audiences he's ever been around. He loves that people would jaw back at him. He doesn't get that everywhere he goes, and so maybe we'll see August back pretty soon. And then match number 5, Gorilla the Great versus NXT's Lexus King. This one actually went back and forth, and it wasn't a back and forth like, oh, Lexus is like, well, I'll let him back in. No. Gorilla was taking his moment as much as Lexus was trying to keep him from him. And this all goes back and forth and back and forth. And the 2023 Georgia Wrestler of the Year, Skrilla, was giving it to Lexus King. At one point, he actually pinned him for a 5 or 6 count. Unfortunately, referee Paul Santos was on the floor where he had taken a shot to the face. And by the time he come to, there was a kick to the inner thigh region from Lexus to Skrilla, followed by the coronation, which is the Lexus King finisher, and Lexus King wins. I don't think this will be the last time you see them. I think at some point you could see these two go at it in NXT. I think at some point you could see them again on a Deep South show. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But that wasn't even the main event. The main event was for the DSW Championship as Jacob Johnson versus his mentor, the guy who helped bring him into the wrestling world, Apollo Prince. This is actually really, really good. When you go against Jacob, you have to go power for power, and Apollo can do that. At one point, Apollo did Jacob Johnson's World's Strongest Slam. And at one point, Jacob Johnson did the Apollo Prince Powerbomb. And finally, as I called it, the Jersey's Strongest Slam by Jacob led to the 1, 2, 3. This is King Kong versus Godzilla. These two destroyed New York City, and it was really, really good. To have to follow Skrilla versus Lex King, you got to be special. That was special. Just because of what, we got to see the newcomers of Von Smith and Stunt and Artois and Lexus. Fans loved it. Fans love these people. They love these guys. Carolina, I think they're going to really enjoy her being around. As I said at the end of my write-up, the two hardest things Eric Adams has on his plate, in my opinion, booking quality opponents for Jim and Jules and finding challengers who can go power to power with Johnson. That's by far the hardest thing for him to do. But great show. Next New Realm show is November 17th. I think they're going to be at Little Cottage Brewery up in the Highlands, Georgia Highlands, on the 1st, which is this Friday. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. Then we get into Bound for Glory. I'm not going to get into the pre-matches because The only thing that matters in that is that Kazarian won the 20-person intergender call your shot gauntlet, which means he can call for a championship match whenever he wants. And Ash and Heather by Elegance beat Zyra Brookside and Brindley Reese in a good match that didn't mean anything. Mike Bailey defeated El Hijo de Vikingo, who got a little knock on his knee. Looks like he's going to take about a week rest, and he should be good. It's nothing, no substantial damage. Already heard a statement from him. He should be good. Met him a couple weeks back. That dude can go. Spitfire defeated Rosemary and Wendy Chu for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Spitfire was able to retain. That's 0-2 for NXT on this show. And it seems like Chu and Rosemary just, I don't know, they're not hitting it off anymore. So maybe they're gonna do something with them soon. Josh Alexander beat Steve Macklin by technical submission. Glad I didn't bother watching that match because that makes no sense. PCO beat Cardona in a Monsters Ball match because, of course, Mike Santana versus Moose was 14 minutes of absolute gold. Santana's the main eventer. Glad they give him that opportunity. Moxley Slamovich is your new TNA Knockouts World Champion. Remember, I told you guys that. I feel like Jordan Grace's going to take a step back for a minute, and Slamovich is one to take the division. Nemeth defeated Joe Hendry with Kazarian as the referee, but he defeated him because JBL did a clothesline from hell on Joe Hendry. I want to see this JBL angle and what it means. Then the Hardys beat the System for the TNA World Championship, so the Hardys are now the champions, and great. Who cares? I think that just leaves us with AEW. Just a couple notes from AEW. They're gearing up for their big pay-per-view. I think Full Gear, which is November 23rd. We'll talk more about that in the next couple weeks. Adam Cole MJF is going to be fun. Whenever they get around to it, MJF is still filming the Adam Sandler movie, Happy Gilmore 2. So we got to kind of wait on that. Chris Jericho's your new Ring of Honor champion, whatever that means. Spoiler alert for next week. Bobby Lashley confronted Swerve Scott last night. That should be a lot of fun to see that. MVP and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton can still go. He absolutely has some just outstanding dynamite matches. Wasn't a lot. It's kind of Mox and Shafir and Pac and Claudio and Yuta all attack Top Flight and Andretti again. Like the Leo Rush versus Shelton was worth it. I don't know where the Mox thing's going. So until it kind of shows the direction, other than them randomly attacking people, then I don't get it. But other than that, Jay White versus Christian was a 5-star match. I hope Jay White gets a bigger push than he's getting right now. But Kip Sabian and Hangman were down there, and it didn't go well for Jay White. But other than that, that's everything that happened. We'll be back next week to talk about all the results, all the other stuff. We'll have more WWE content because we'll see what Crown Jewel is going to be about. But other than that, this has been another great edition of Strong Style. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting.